Hi there, hope you have a fantastic day today. This lesson I will teach you how to add and subtract vectors. Of course, there is a PDF file versions on the description below for you to download so you can work with me. Otherwise, let's go straight into it. So CA plus IE, so we have CI is this vector here, and then we add IE. So IE is this vector here. So therefore, CI plus IE will give me this vector here. So that is CE. There you go. So that is equal to CE. So CD plus IC. So the vector CD is this. So this vector here. And then we add IC. So IC is here. So therefore, we know that CD plus, so we know that the vector CD plus vector IC is exactly the same as vector IC add vector CD. So that will give me IC plus CD will equal to this vector here. So this vector here is ID. So the answer is vector ID. There you go. Part C. So we want to work out vector IC minus vector BI. So that is vector IC here, and we minus vector BI. So this vector here. Now remember, vector BI is equal to negative vector IB. And you can see this diagram here. So IB is equal to negative BI. So opposite directions. So this means that this will becomes CI minus vector negative IB. So this will give me vector CI, and we add vector IB. But then we know that vector CI plus vector IB is exactly the same as vector IB plus vector CI. So vector CI is here, and we add vector IB. So that is this vector here. This is the resultant vector. So that is equal to vector CB. There you go. Part D. So the vector DC, so DC is here. And then we minus vector DE. So DE here. But we minus it. So remember, vector DE is equal to negative vector of AD. Because it's just opposite directions. Okay? So negative ED. So that will give me DC minus negative vector of ED. So this is equal to DC and plus ED. So now we have DC, and then we add ED. So therefore, this is exactly the same as ED, and then we add DC. So therefore, we have this vector here. So we have ED add DC. So the resultant vector is this one here. So that is C. There you go. Please pause the video and try this one yourself. Hi, I'm back. How do you go? So let me go through them with you, okay? Before I do that, please do not forget to give me a thumb up and subscribe if you haven't done so you can help me to grow my channel. So let's get into this. So first one, so we have BC, which is this vector here, and then we add CD, which is this vector here, plus DI, this vector here. So therefore the resultant vector is this vector here. So that is BI, which is equal to BI. There you go. Part B. So we have vector IB, which is this vector here, and then we add DI. So DI is here. So this means that this is exactly the same as vector DI add vector IB. So they are the same. So therefore the resultant vector is this vector here. So vector DB. There you go. Part C. So vector DB is this vector here, and then we minus CB. So CB is this vector here. So this means that we know that CB is equal to negative vector BC. So this will give me DB, and then we minus negative BC. So that is exactly the same as vector DB, and then we add vector BC. So there you go. So now we just work it out. So that is DB is this vector here, then we add BC. So therefore the resultant is this vector here. So that is equal to DC. There you go. Last one. So we have vector EB minus vector DB. Again, so we know that DB is equal to negative vector BD. So this will give me vector EB minus bracket negative BD. So that will give me vector EB at vector BD. So we have vector EB here, and then we add this vector here, so BD. So therefore the resultant vector is this vector here. So that is ED. There you go. I hope you got all of them correct. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.